Monster High was originally an alternative doll line released in the early 2010s. What helped these dolls stand out compared to its competitors around the same time was the original character design and story, with each doll being a different teenage monster that goes to an all-ghoul school. When the doll line released in 2010, it was reacted to a bunch of different reviews, with some people liking the more out there fashion choices and character design, while others, mainly parents, believed the dolls were too scary for their kids and the clothes weren't modest enough. Despite this, the doll line still became insanely popular and even got to a point where they would release movies alongside the doll lines to help promote them. With these movies, Monster High gained more popularity than ever, which allowed it to reach new levels. The main selling point of these movies and dolls was the main 5 friendship group. This group included characters such as Frankie, Draculaura, Claudine, Cleo, and Laguna. Something else I've realized while making these videos and researching a bunch of nostalgic TV shows is that a lot of these movies, doll lines, TV shows relied heavily on a all-female friendship group, what I think is really interesting, because it's not just Monster High, it's also Winx, it's also Bratz, and many other shows around that time. And that's what makes it even more impressive that Monster High was able to stand out with their friendship group compared to all these other competitors that were doing the same. The first couple Monster High movies followed these 5 main characters and explored their individual stories more, but as Generation 1 continues, we got to know different side characters more, like Spectra and Ghoulia, which allowed these movies to stay fresh and interesting. For the doll line, they would release a mixture of movie-based dolls and one-off dolls, which allowed each doll to stand out and gave the fans incentive to continue buying and to widen their collection. This popularity sadly only lasted till late 2015 and early 2016 when Generation 1 officially ended because of declining sales. It's always really sad to look back on Generation 1, especially as it's what I grew up with as a kid. When I was younger, I genuinely, truly was obsessed with Monster High. I had Monster High makeup, I had the dolls, I had the bed sheets, I had stickers, I would stick them all over my drawers to make them Monster High themed, I had socks, I had clothes, I had majority of the DVDs. And so to think that I'm never going to get that back definitely hurts, and it also might make me just a tad bit biased for the rest of this video, and so I'll try not to be. I'm going to try in my deepest heart not to be biased, but there genuinely is no promises. I was just so obsessed with Monster High. I have such like a soft spot for Monster High in my heart that I feel like some part of me is always going to be a bit biased when it comes to different generations, especially since in my opinion they are such a letdown from what we used to have and from what I grew up with. Shortly after the end of the first generation, Mattel decided to reboot Monster High in hopes that it could regain its original popularity. Unfortunately, it seemed to have the opposite effect. This is as most fans disliked the low-quality dolls, the retelling of the original story, they felt alienated, and they disliked the more childlike design. One of my biggest stripes from this generation is you could tell they put no effort into the dolls. Their faces seemed bland, their hair seemed bland, their outfits seemed unoriginal, and nothing like what we used to have. Something that really drew me into Generation 1 as a child was the dolls and how they felt so cool to own at my age. But when looking at Generation 2, they lost all magic that made them so good. The dolls also felt much cheaper, which did not help redeem it in most fans' eyes. Despite all of this, my biggest problem came from the movies, as what made Generation 1 so special to me is that each movie took place in a new area. It didn't only focus on the main 5 girls, and there was a new focus character each movie. Yet when it came to Generation 2, they took all of that away. They only focused on the 5 main girls, there was no fun side storyline, and both movies were set in the same place. All of this felt like such a downgrade, especially as this generation only lasted 2 years. It never really had time to redeem itself. After this, fans truly believed that this would be the end of Monster High, and we would never get a reboot. Surprisingly, after the massive Generation 2, we somehow got another reboot, which currently might be causing more of a stir than the last one. I believe the main reason for this is because they are targeting a whole new generation with this reboot. They changed all the character designs and their personality, which really did not sit well with a lot of older fans. With this reboot, Monster High also partnered with Nickelodeon. This brought us content such as an animated show and live-action movies. We only ended up getting 2 Monster High live-action movies, as in 2024 it got cancelled, most likely for low viewership, with the same happening for the animated show, as it also got cancelled after 2 seasons. This really highlights the state Monster High is currently in, as it's failing to garner any audience. I believe this could be because they don't know what audience to commit to just yet, which really sends mixed signals, and it makes sure that nobody connects to it fully. All the new content that came out this generation was targeted towards a new, younger audience. You can tell by the way they designed it and the new stories they brought in. But they still want to target an older audience, and they do this by releasing expensive collector dolls and by remaking nostalgic older content like songs. And somehow this is not even the most controversial part of this reboot. The design really takes the crown there, especially the fashion choices it makes. One of my biggest pet peeves that come with modern reboots is that the creators always feel the need to change the thing that made it so popular in the first place. And with Monster High, it's the fashion. Back then, especially to younger kids, Y2K was seen as cool, different and trendy. It made the dolls stand out. But with this reboot, it seems like they made the clothes more childlike. This comes across even more annoying to older fans, as Y2K fashion has made its come around again, which means it would make more sense for that to be the fashion all these teens are wearing. And it's also what made the doll line so iconic in the first place. So it's confusing why they would change it out of nowhere. For now, it's hard for me to really say if Generation 3 is that bad, because I believe there are some positives and there's some negatives to this. Like, some positives will be that a whole new generation gets to experience Monster High again, and they are reinventing old content to make it more interesting and more fun for the newer audience. But the content isn't as good as they used to be, and nor is the stylistic choices they make. So because of this, it's hard to know if this reboot will be successful, as the doll line is doing quite well, but the shows and movies aren't. In a couple years, I think it'll be really fun to look back on this and see if they really was able to pull off a successful rebrand, or if they will try with another generation in the future. Till then, I just wanted to thank everyone so much for watching. This is only my second video and I have so much more to learn and so much more to improve on. So please consider subscribing, liking and commenting if you liked this video. And please tell me your opinions on this new generation, as I feel like it's got quite mixed reviews from older and newer fans. People love it, people hate it. It's like Marmite. Anyway, I wanted to thank you one last time for watching this video. This is like such an important topic to me. As I've stated, I grew up watching Monster High. It was literally like my childhood for the longest time ever. And so yet again, I feel like I'm more critical in Generation 2 and Generation 3 than others might be. And that's why I'm always so keen on others' opinions. So please comment them down below. And for one last time, thank you so much. Bye.